if gods are real and they're letting all these awful things happen to people, they don't deserve to live. Which, fair point.
Not a bad point.
The latest trailer for Thor Love and Thunder is here, and it rules. Bright colors, crazy costumes, and Natalie Portman's crazy jacked arms. And what about our first glimpse at Gorr the Godbutcher? Watch the video to find out what we thought of the trailer. The new trailer for Thor Love and Thunder dropped last night, and we watched it, and we're going to talk about it right now. Here we are. We're talking about it. Nina, you watched the trailer. What were your thoughts about this? What were your thoughts about this trailer?
I'm so excited for this movie. I'm really excited. It looks awesome. The color palette is wild. It's all over the place. I mean, I'm sure we'll get to that when we talk a little more about our first glimpse at this movie's villain, Gorr, played by Christian Bale. Who we have not seen him before in any capacity, right? Like, we haven't even seen a picture of him up until now, right?
There have been action figure leaks.
Oh, okay. But not anything like this. Right. Yeah. So, I'm sure we'll touch on that. But yeah, the colored palette looks amazing. Like, it looks like it's not kind of that just sludge, and it's like either really bright or it's really kind of like dramatic. Got to see a lot more of my girl Jane.
Tons of Natalie
awesome.
Portman.
Her arms are so jacked. I'm so proud of her.
Jacked.
My God.
I'm just like,
that's she's
exciting.
So cool. She's just so cool. I love Natalie Portman.
It helps me. This trailer kind of filled in some gaps for me because before the trailer came out, everyone was like, when's the trailer coming out? When's the trailer coming out? And all the press and promo was Taika Waititi, Chris Hemsworth, and Tessa Thompson. I was like, where's Natalie Portman? Is she like hardly in this movie? And then you see her in these trailers and you're like, oh, maybe they were trying to keep this reveal on the down low that she's jacked as heck.
Yeah, clearly.
For someone as
like
small
they weren't letting her
Natalie
out in
Portman.
public. Yeah, exactly. No, she looks like, and I'm happy to see, like, from what we see of her in the trailer, not only is she, ripped to shreds, but she also seems to be like having fun, which is so nice to see after, like, the first two Thor movies, she didn't really get to have a very good time, and then she didn't come back for anything further. And they, what did they have to do in Endgame? They had to like use like B-roll footage of like her arm going into a door or something.
Yeah, they used a little bit of old footage, and they did some new voicebrought. But I think aside from that, she didn't do anything.
But like,
else,
she wouldn't come back for anything. And then obviously Taika Waititi was like, "I'm a genius." Brought her back in. I'm feeling like a lot of love for Taika right now because I just finished Our Flag Means Death, which is so good.
Oh. We have one episode left.
He's so good in it. I won't.
Yeah, he's great.
He's so great in it. He and Rhys Darby are perfect. But no, this movie looks like a perfect summer blockbuster. Just like a whole bunch of fun. I'm glad we got to see a little more of Tessa Thompson, and especially I liked the very brief dynamic we got between her and Jane, where they're like, "Should we help him?" Nah. Yeah, like the two badass women in Thor's life are like teaming up and being friends, and I love that.
Hasn't quite passed the Bechdel test yet because they are still talking about a man.
Yes,
but I assume that they will talk about other things pretty soon.
Give it time. No, I clearly this is going to be, and it was interesting too because I was going to say clearly it's going to be a Jane heavy movie, but I don't know why I was so surprised by this, but it really leans into the romance angle, like really heavy. Clearly, like
the subtitle is Love and Thunder,
right? But I don't know. Right. I didn't know how much they were going to be like these two kind of like long lost loves are getting back together, and clearly they're really going for it. Which, I mean, Hemsworth and Portman are two super talented people. So and Waititi, like I said, love him, love everything he does. So I think they're going to sell it really well, which is really exciting, especially after coming off of Multiverse and Madness, where I was like, why would he and Rachel McAdams have ever been together? They have no chemistry and don't seem to like each other very much. I'm hoping to see. In fact, you know what? Overall, the aside from like Wanda and Vision, I would say believable romances in the MCU are pretty sparse.
It's never been the strong suit of the franchise.
Yeah, so if we can get like some really good chemistry going between ripped Natalie Portman and
Falcon and Winter Soldier had some good chemistry with each other. I would have liked to see those two crazy kids end up together.
I know. Yeah.
Didn't happen.
The internet was mad about that. But so I feel like I've been talking for a year and a half. I really, really like this trailer. I loved, I love that it's like Korg explaining Thor's whole deal, and I think this movie is going to be a blast. I really can't wait to see it. What do you think about it, Brian?
Well, I thought it looked really great. I thought it was a super good time. I love the orchestral take on Sweet Child of Mine in the background.
Yeah.
And I just think, like what you said, I think Natalie Portman looks like she's having a really good time. I think that her role as Jane Foster in the first two movies, it wasn't nothing. And I think that she did what she could with what she had. Like, she elevated that role. But if you were to look from the outside at what she was supposed to be doing in that, none of it was particularly exciting or challenging or,
she was kind of just there. Yeah.
Right.
Gaze at Thor. Yeah.
Yeah. She brought her charisma to elevate this otherwise nothing role. So now I'm excited to see her being an active participant, doing something interesting, doing something exciting, looking awesome, beating up bad guys, swinging a hammer around. It's like, it's the fantasy, like who doesn't want to be able to lift Mjolnir? Like a few years ago, as part of my work with Looper, I got to interview one of the original concept designers for the MCU, this guy named Charlie Wen.
Awesome.
And he brought to the interview a bunch of props and stuff from the early days of the MCU. And one of them was a replica of Mjolnir. It was I think it was used in the movie, the original Thor movie. It was one of the hammers.
So cool. Yeah.
And he got to keep one of them because he led the design team on that movie, and I got to hold it. And there's a picture of me holding Mjolnir that I really like. I cherish this photo because it's a cool moment where I got to hold it. So it's the point of this story is that I love seeing Natalie Portman wielding Mjolnir, beating bad guys in the face. It's like, it's the coolest thing. So
it's so satisfying, especially like, I don't know, I'm still really salty about kind of the whole Black Widow situation and
for sure.
And I have my misgivings about like Wanda's super powerful, but the way that she was used in Multiverse, I didn't love it.
For sure.
And so I'm like, cool. Like we get this amazing female superhero who's going to just take this movie by storm. And it's also, I mean, you talked about Portman's like charisma. I mean, she is so good at elevating material because you just really kind of want to keep watching her. She's so delightful on screen, especially when she gets to have fun. Like there's an okay movie that she's in called No Strings Attached that like, Is
that like Justin Timberlake in that movie?
No, that's the other one. That's Friends with Benefits. They came out the same year. It's super confusing.
Is this one Ashton Kutcher?
Yes, it is.
Okay, all right.
And I think it's directed by like a Reitman or something. It's really confusing, but it's it's a boiler.
The other one had Mila Kunis, right?
Yes,
Opposite Justin Timberlake. That's why I got him confused.
Well,
that's another reason.
And then you've got the Black Swan thing. The reason I bring that up is that, it's a boilerplate rom-com. It's literally identical to one that came out that same year, but she's really charming in it, and she's so much fun because it's just like a really kind of silly script, and she's allowed to play around and just be, not Garden State quirky, but like fun quirky and not insufferable. But yeah, so I'm so excited that she's this prestige actor who's been in Hollywood literally her whole life, and she got done dirty in the first two Thor movies, and now she's finally getting her redemption. So pumped. I'm going to see this movie like 45 times in theaters probably.
It's definitely one of the MCU movies I'm most excited to see. Like Multiverse of Madness surprised me by how much I liked it, but I liked it, I think maybe because of a lot of the goofy stuff that some people maybe didn't like. I love the camp. I love the horror. I love the violence. Yeah, I loved all that stuff. And the story I could take or leave.
I was the same way. I was like, the Marvel stuff in it, I'm like, eh. And then the Raimi stuff, I was like, yes.
Yeah. But with this one, I think I'm here for all of it. Like as a package, it's the movie I think I'm most looking forward to that's from Marvel this year. Let's talk a little bit before we go about Christian Bale, Gorr the Godbutcher.
He looks creepy.
He looks very creepy. He still sounds like Batman, though. So I'm not sure how well.
He does.
I hope I can separate Batman out of that because I still hear Bruce Wayne when he's talking.
Yeah.
But so I read up a little bit about this character in anticipation of this chat. So this is a character that was introduced after I kind of like started to drift away from reading comics regularly. But his deal is that he is an alien guy who lived on this world that sucked. And he and his family were starving all the time, and his family all dies. And so he curses the gods. He's like, I hate the gods. I don't believe in the gods. They're not real. Because if they're real, they wouldn't let this happen. And so he's cast out. He's cast out from his village. Because he's like, God isn't real. And they're like, you're blaspheming. So he leaves his village. He's cast out. And then he sees, what does he see? 2 gods fighting. That's convenient. So he sees these 2 gods fighting, and one of them loses his sword. And then when he realizes that the gods are real, he takes one of the gods' swords and starts killing the other one. He just basically goes on a rampage across the cosmos to kill every god he can, because he says that if gods are real and they're letting all these awful things happen to people, they don't deserve to live. Which, fair point.
Not a bad point.
Not the worst position to be coming from.
For the uninitiated, they did a decent job of getting that through in the trailers, as I immediately was like, okay, he believes that like it's unfair that gods have this much power and let people die and you know, cities fall to ruin and stuff. And yeah, I feel like I already have a little bit of a window into his mind, which is cool.
Right.
A couple minutes.
Yeah. It's interesting though to think about this concept, because it's like, I'm killing all the gods, but it's like they're also like, they're just like really powerful aliens, you know, like, are they really gods? Are they not? I mean, I don't know. It's whatever.
Right.
It's fine.
Right.
It's cool.
Right.
I'm looking forward to it. I think that he's going to do a great job with it. Christian Bale rules. He's never bad in anything.
Yeah. Yeah. This is 2 Oscar winners now added to this cast. Yeah. And also I loved the kind of, it made me think a little bit of like some of the color changes in Mad Max Fury Road. Indisputably one of the best action movies ever made.
Awesome movie.
And like the black and white vibe of Gorr's plane of existence. I'm not really sure what it is that Thor then enters into. That looks so cool. And I love that it's super different from the really bright, colorful rest of the trailer. I'm very, very excited for that tonal shift throughout the film.
Yeah. There's going to be some really cool visuals in this. There's going to be a fun script. There's going to be a lot of great acting. There's going to be great costumes. I'm very bullish about this movie. I'm very excited about this movie. I will undoubtedly be disappointed, but I went into Thor Ragnarok feeling this way, and I came out really excited. So
yeah, Ragnarok's the kind of movie you leave and you just want to like high five everybody you see on the street. And I feel like this is going to be that same movie. You're just like, yeah.
I will say though, comparatively, when you talk about the needle drops, the Thor Ragnarok using Immigrant Song, that's a 10 out of 10.
Yep.
Thor Love and Thunder using Guns N' Roses' Sweet Child of Mine, I'll give it a 7. Like Guns N' Roses can't compare to Led Zeppelin.
That's just not fair, because also Immigrant Song, it makes like I'm out of shape and it makes me want to run a marathon. Like that's not a fair comparison.
I'm just saying, I think they should use Immigrant Song for every song.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Just do it again.
Let's just do it again. It was such a great moment. Like,
Worked so great.
I just want that feeling every time.
Just go watch Ragnarok, Brian.
Okay, I will. Thanks for watching Everything Marvel. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more videos about your favorite Marvel stuff is coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.